Hi, I'm Carly and welcome to my garden. This is week 7 of the garden tour here in my small backyard suburban garden in New Jersey. And last weekend I actually didn't do a video because we had a heat wave and it was 100 degrees, hot, sunny. It was brutal out here, and if I wasn't out here at the crack of dawn, it just got way too hot to come out and film a video and too bright for you to even be able to see anything. So it's been about 2 weeks since our last update and a lot has changed, so let's go check it out. One of the first things is finally the flowers I've been talking about have started blooming. This is calendula. I think this variety is a strawberry blonde. And then the nasturtiums are back there as well. And this whole area now, as you can see, is just absolutely full. The Roma tomato, I'm not pruning this guy, so it's bushing out doing its thing, but we have some tomatoes going back here. I love watching the bees go just down the tomato plants basically from flower to flower. It's one of my favorite things to see. Here are some tomatoes that are going. This is Queen of the Night, so I think this is more of like a salad-sized tomato, and all this green will turn red, but the tops will be black or purple. These are the Pantano Romanescos. It's an Italian red. And next to the tomatoes, you can see I have all my onions, and these are really starting to bulb up now. And some of these are getting pretty big. This is the mystery tomato plant. Still have no idea what he is. We're just gonna let him go. Figure it out. The blueberries are actually getting fully attacked by birds and eaten, so I'm hoping to get another full round as all of these turn. It's just difficult to keep the birds out here. So do you remember I had a yellow squash plant that I was going to die, and I refused to pull it because I have this innate feeling that plants want to live, and if I pull a plant I'm killing it even if it looks like it's already dying, and I need to show you the update. Hello. I've never seen a squash plant like this with more fruit on it. This one looks like it was a fasciated flower. Should probably pull this one. But no fruit yet. That's actually ready. Just a lot getting prepped. And our zucchini that we're also doing with a vertical grow here. I have some other squash that I'm doing the same thing with these smaller poles. It seems to work out better when you start them like that instead of trying to have to train them like that afterwards. We've had some fruit come up on this plant, but nothing was actually pollinated enough, so it did that thing where it just kind of withered and died. On the other side of where the blueberries are, here is where I have a lot of squash growing up trellises behind me, and we'll dig into that because one of them is really taking over the entire thing and I have to make some choices. And my carrots, which I really struggled with at the beginning of the year, are doing well, and the calendula over here is also starting to bloom. This is a butternut squash plant, and it's doing exactly what I want it to do. It looks great. Now, on the other side, I'm almost a little too close here. This is a spaghetti squash plant, and it's also growing and is already up to there. And it's also kind of taking through here. These are my peas, which I kind of was hoping I would have peas by now. But look, this is all growing inside. It's come all the way out to here. I think I need to cut this off. But for now, we'll just kind of stick you there. I went ahead and harvested the big broccoli that I had, and I left what remained. Yes, you can get side shoots, which is kind of what's happening here. I might actually get some more broccoli, but I left this one and one over there specifically to shade my lettuce, because again, it was so hot here. So this is shading lettuce, and I do have to come through. You can see it's starting to bolt. Did a pretty good job of protecting this lettuce, but again, this is crazy now. I have to come through and just collect it all. Before I planted all the squash here going up the trellises, my initial thought along here and along here was to grow some mini melons. So here I have mini watermelons growing. Here we have, they're called Petit Degré Renis, and they are like melons about that big, kind of like cantaloupe. And for some reason they're really struggling, and I don't know why, because they are right by the drip line, so they should be getting enough water. They're just not taking off the way that this one planted at the same time has taken off. Maybe it just hasn't been hot enough. Watermelons, but again, maybe it wasn't hot enough. And my cucumber is kind of, it's growing, but I don't know what's happening there. Haven't gotten one cucumber off of it yet. This cauliflower looked like it was doing absolutely nothing, and it's finally starting to head up. Which brings me to, actually, I had a cauliflower that I saw a girl on TikTok do this thing where you blanch the cauliflower, which really just means that once it starts bulbing up its head, you tie up the leaves around it so it protects it from bugs and all that kind of stuff. I did that, and then I untied it, and I don't think it's supposed to look like this. Like, what is that? And at this point, like, it has opened a little bit, but it was not a bulb when I untied it. It was all at different levels. It is supposed to be purple. It's kind of purpley. I don't know what to do about that. The leaves are all destroyed. I'm probably not doing this method again. But I mean, next to it, we do have some pretty flowers. I have to harvest herbs today. The basil's finally going. I need to harvest that when I can make some pesto. That's really how I want to use this. More basil down here. I threw in even some more little basil just to kind of always have some going. The chard is looking really pretty. Oregano, celery, lettuce. This is dill. I'm letting it go to flower. This lettuce, again, bolted. I have this broccoli kind of shading it out. But I have some new lettuces down there that I did pop in when I pulled some out. This is celery, if anyone was wondering what it looks like when it grows. That has been the longest plant from seed to actual plant so far that I've been growing. It took so long for it to do anything. And this is the only seed that actually took off. All the other seeds didn't sprout or died. Behind me, I have a bed with sweet peas growing, and I've not yet to get one sweet pea off of those peas. So I'm assuming it just was taking a little while. We're getting hot now though, so I'm afraid that it's all just going to get kind of powdery mildew and die before I get much. But my plan is to pull those once on both trellises. Once I get some peas from them, once I feel like the plant has done its thing, I'm gonna pull all of those plants, compost them, and then there'll be more room for all of those squash and melons I've been showing you to actually grow up the trellis and around it. Because I have one really cool squash plant called a candy roaster squash that I have to show you that's finally starting to really go for it too. In the beds, this is the first bed when you come into the garden, I do have onions lining it up. The onions are really starting to get lots of greens and really big, so probably sometime in July is when I'll end up harvesting the onions. And in this bed there's onions, but it's also kind of the pepper patch. It's the pepper patch, the sweet peas are growing up the trellis, and there are a couple green beans thrown in. I just kind of threw some beans in random places, and I'll continue to do that throughout the summer because they're pretty quick. I can pop them in, they're small, I'll do bush beans, and then I can just pick green beans. I'm probably going to also redo that with my green stalks on the deck and pull out all those lettuces that's getting too hot for and put beans in there too. One thing I'm very excited about is this year I did 3 pepper plants from seed, and they obviously were smaller than the ones that you get at a farmer's market or like at a store, and I finally am seeing them grow and start to match the height of the other peppers that are in the garden. So we're gonna go take a look at those. Long ones obviously run here are onions, and then you have the peas growing up, but inside are the peppers. And these peppers, 1, 2, and 3 are peppers that I grew from seed. And then this is a poblano. Poblano peppers for me always get very tall. This I got from a garden center. This I believe is jalapeno, also from a garden center. And then there's a habanero plant, also from a garden center. This is where I had the peppers last year, and what's happening this year is, especially now that I know what a mini pepper plant is supposed to look like, I have a couple volunteers, and I don't know what kind of pepper they're going to be, but I've decided to maybe let them go for it and see what they are. This is a volunteer. I did not plant you. He just grew. So we're gonna let him go and see what happens. Oh, and there's my beans. You can see all the flowers. So that's exciting. That's great. There's beans over here as well, but I don't think these ones are flowering yet. This will be the purple ones. Oh, and this is a cucamelon. Okay. I don't really want this living here, so I'm gonna have to dig it up and move it. The cucamelons are not perennials, but when I planted them a few years ago, they are about this big when they grow, and when they drop, if you don't get them all, guess what? They reseed. And animals move them around, birds move them around. I have seeds for them everywhere in my garden, and look where I just found one. Oh, just growing outside of my tomato bed, and then growing up the onions as if it's a trellis. Should I move that? Also, that guy, volunteer, I don't know what it is. It is living, so I think I'm just gonna let it go. This bed has the really interesting squash that I want to show you and talk to you about. My yellow squash that I told you is now a monstrosity is living its best life over there. I have a couple eggplants. One is here. They're starting to flower. And then another one is in the other bed. This does have some sweet peppers in it. There's a purple bell pepper and I don't know what, oh, Italian roaster peppers. That's what this really tall one is. All the other peppers in the other bed are hot. This right here, this guy, who I have been training to trellis, is my candy roaster squash. It's an heirloom variety from the South, I guess. Think like South Carolina, Georgia. Has anyone had this? A candy roaster squash. It's supposed to kind of be oblong in shape, but it looks like when you cut into it, it kind of reminds me of a butternut squash. It's supposed to be very sweet, great for pies, baking, roasting. And again, the plan is to go up. Meanwhile, this guy's meeting him there already, so I think we're gonna have to trim that up. Again with the volunteers. Volunteers, plant that you didn't plant, it grew, reseeded itself from the previous season. Now I have another one growing. It's not, I should have seen it. It's actually, it's quite large. This is a tomato plant. Growing just... It found some sunlight and it's growing. Don't think it's gonna last very long, and it is gonna take up the space in this walkway. But again, I guess we'll just kind of let it do its thing. For some reason, something is determined to keep breaking and killing my sunflowers. Like, why? I don't get it. Keeps literally coming through and almost biting the heads right off of them. Fun update is the raspberries behind me. They are really getting ready. I have 3 golden raspberries and 3 traditional red raspberry plants. So there's at least 6 in this spot. I think there might actually be 7. I may have done an extra of one of them. There's not much going on with the strawberries and asparagus, except I'm constantly fighting animals to get any strawberries. But the potatoes are finally really all starting to fill out their bags, and the green stalks are not doing terribly for how hot it's been. And my clementine tree, I'll have to show you that too. So here are some of the potatoes, again, finally kind of filling up to the top of that bag. And this is that clementine or mandarin tree that I got. Has some new growth on it. Again, not expecting any fruit this year, but just kind of getting it established. This is on wheels, so I can move it around and bring it inside to the greenhouse when it gets chilly. I can bring it into the house over the winter if I have to. One of the reasons that I started putting videos like this on YouTube is because a lot of YouTube content for gardening and growing food includes growers who have lots of land, acreage, and farm animals, just all of the things which are wonderful and great. But there's so many people that don't have access to that kind of space and that kind of resource. And I found a way to grow a lot of food for my family of 5 in a small suburban backyard. I live in New Jersey. There are so many people in this state. We don't have a lot of room, even though we are the garden state. Not many of us have actual farms. So that's why I started it. And part of that also includes having vertical growing on my deck. If I did not have that side garden, there's actually a lot that I could be growing in vertical containers like green stalks, things like that. So if you don't have even the space that I have and all you have is a balcony or a deck, you have options. And I'll show you what my green stalks look like right now. This is an orange hat tomato plant. It's specifically made for container growing like this. It's meant to be tiny, but you can see it's already putting off fruit. I've grown a ton of lettuce this year in this thing, and that's why all of this is just me picking lettuce off of here. There's lettuce in here. I have shallots going. My peas are not really doing well in here. Oh, I fell off here this year, but it's so small. My peas usually do much better in here. I don't know what happened. I have 2 peas. There you go. They are good though. So in the green stalks, lettuces, arugula, beets, you can do radishes. I have those little mini tomatoes going. I had a bunch of extra shallots, so I threw the shallots in here, and that's kind of an experiment. I have the smaller sized green stalk. They do have one that has like bigger pockets where you could grow things like actual tomatoes, peppers, all that kind of stuff. So I think I'm gonna have to spend some time ripping out all of the arugula and lettuce that's done, and I'll probably do some beans next. Hello, Minty girl. I also threw sweet potatoes in here just to see what happened. I had an empty container with some soil. We'll see if I get anything actually. I'll give you a look at what has become the bane of my existence, but I'm not even going into it today. Forget it. So there you go. It's pretty much the update on my backyard kitchen garden in my New Jersey suburban backyard. And things are lush, green, starting to look overwhelming. But once I actually start harvesting some stuff out of here, I think it'll make me just feel motivated to just keep doing all the hard work. It's exciting to see how much the garden has grown already this year compared to this time last year, and a lot of that is because of the greenhouse behind me. So just constantly thankful for that when I look at stuff from last year compared to this year. Well, thank you for joining me in my garden today, for taking a tour, taking a walk. I wish I could go check out yours. But in the meantime, I hope you have a nice hot cup of coffee today and you get a chance to watch something grow.